All right. I wanted to get this new assignment out there because I understand there's some of you who are done with everything. And as you all know by now, I don't like people just sitting idle, not using their time constructively. So here's what we're going to be focusing on for the next assignment. Obviously, it's color theory and just taking a deeper look at how we combine colors to make our work more effective. So this is a standard color wheel, something you maybe hopefully have seen before in your life, or you should have seen maybe in elementary school at the very least. Obviously, it's the rainbow of colors. There are things I think we should all know that red, yellow, and blue are the primary colors. Purple, orange, and green are the secondaries. They're what become when we mix two primary colors. So if we mix red and yellow, we get orange. If we mix yellow and blue, we get green. If we mix blue and red, we get purple. And so on and so forth. The colors that are in between, like a blue and a green, are called tertiary colors. That's, I guess, some knowledge for some game show question you might win someday. But bear this in mind when I go through the samples here. So on we go. There are 6 relationships that I'm going to focus on. The first is a monochromatic, then a complementary, a split complementary, a double complementary, an analogous, and a triad or triad, some pronounce it. So I'll try and break those down a little bit more in depth on each one. Again, that first is a monochromatic. So that's colors or shades that are tints or variations of the same hue. Hue is just another word for color. Complementary are colors straight across from each other on the color wheel. So the standard complementaries would be blue and orange, red and green, and purple and yellow. If you mix those two colors together, you would get a neutral brownish tone. So they work well together. They're always very strong in contrast. When we move on and do split complementaries, it's color plus the two others equally spaced from its complement. You can kind of see on the charts there. Same with the double complementary. It's basically 2 sets of complementary colors, and how far apart you go on the wheel would affect the overall contrast of what the final work. Analogous is trying to keep colors very similar to each other on the color wheel, probably limiting that to about 3 colors right next to each other. And a triad is 3 colors equally positioned on the wheel, so it would be like using the secondaries or using the primaries in a color combination. So if we say a color, if we tint it, a tint is when you add white to a color, and a shade is when you add black to it. So the first one more in depth is the monochromatic scheme. Again, it's colors that are tints or shades of the same hue. These are some samples of works that are done just by using, in this case, blue and maybe adding white or black to it to reach a depth. That's an example using kind of a purplish cyan tone, and this is probably watercolor, I'm guessing, so it would be adding more or less water to the original color, so on and so forth. So I think you get the idea with monochromatic. Complementaries, when we use those complementary colors in a scheme, they are opposite from each other on the color wheel. So this is Impressionist Sunrise by Claude Monet. The orange with the blues creates a really nice feeling and a mood in the painting. Strong contrast because they are complementary colors. So a few more examples. Red and green we often see at what? Christmas, right? Orange and blue. Think of the Broncos or the Chicago Bears. Yellow and purple, we think of maybe the Los Angeles Lakers or Minnesota Vikings. And so it's no coincidence those teams use those colors together because it's a bold combination. It works. Famously done by Edvard Munch, The Scream uses those orange and blue tones. High contrast. It looks appealing to the eye and they work well together. So a few more examples. So the split complementary is one color plus the two others equally spaced from its complement. Again, you can refer back to those early diagrams. These are just some examples. You can see it just really helps contrast. That one would actually also be a triad because it uses the three complementary colors. Double complementary is two hues next to each other on the wheel, and they're paired with the adjacent hues on the opposite side. So this creates a palette of 4 different colors in one work, but they work well together because of their opposition on the color wheel. So that would be one strong example. There's just loads of examples out there. These are ones I found online. Analogous is where the colors lie on, you pick a color and then the color on the left and the right side of it. So in this diagram, they selected purple and then the red purple and the blue purplish color. There are groups of 3 for analogous. So you can see orangish, reddish orange, and red. And again, many samples are out there for you to look up yourself if you're stuck. Triadic is uses the power of 3 colors. It's, like I said, either the primaries, red, yellow, and blue, or the secondaries. And it allows for strong contrast. That John Lennon one back here, this actually would probably be considered a triad. I think I got the slides in the wrong order. Sorry about that. So yeah, 3 colors equally spaced from each other on the wheel. Here's some strong examples. So we think of things that are common to our eye and why it's appealing because it works, because these are thought out color theories. It's not just, oh, I'm going to make his shield red and yellow. I mean, it's because there's high contrast. So people pick colors for reasons, not just because of a feeling. It works in photography. It works in marketing. I mean, it's no secret that we're surrounded by it in the world. We're surrounded by it in logos, in photography. It's what provides contrast and makes our work more appealing. So your assignment is going to be to create a work of art, a drawing, or some sort of representation for each of the 6 color theories that are in this slideshow. By representation, I want to explain that it doesn't just have to be something you do with marker or colored pencil or crayon or whatnot in the classroom. It could be found objects, maybe some labels that if you had, I guess if you had like a Burger King cup and you wanted to paste that into a piece of work and do collage, totally up to you. There's a lot of clever different ways to arrange or assemble or present these. I just ask that you would turn in a work of some sort. It can just be in your sketchbook, I guess, maybe a sketch with monochromatic, showing me that you understand that, showing me that you understand complementary, that you understand split, double, and analogous and triadic color schemes. Some sort of representation. It may just be a small little 6x6 inch drawing, but for each of those schemes, I need to know that you understand the idea of it. And that's where we're headed. And I know some of you aren't even near ready for this, but that's okay for those of you who are. This should at least get you thinking forward and maybe come up with some fun ways to depict your understanding of the different theories. So that's where we're at, and I can't wait to be back with you guys.